morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. Our lesson for today is all about Venn diagram. Shall we start now?
Venn diagram. A Venn diagram is a type of graphic organizer. Graphic organizers are a way of organizing complex relationships visually. They allow abstract ideas to be more visible. Although Venn diagrams are primarily a thinking tool, they can also be used for assessment. However, students must already be familiar with them before they can be used in this way. So when to use Venn diagrams? Venn diagrams are used to compare and contrast groups of things. They are useful tool for formative assessment because they can be used to generate discussions and provide teachers with information about students' thinking. In science, they are helpful for classifications as an accepted convention for representing similarities and differences. Knowing how to use them contributes to the key competency using language, symbols, and text. The theory of Venn diagram. Venn diagrams originate from the branch of mathematics called set theory. John Venn developed them in 1891 to show relationship between sets. They are now used across many other disciplines. Information is usually presented to students in linear text. Especially when there is a lot of information, it is difficult to see relationship in this format. Venn diagrams enable students to organize information visually so they are able to see the relationship between two or three sets of items. They can then identify similarities and differences.
How the strategy works. A Venn diagram consists of overlapping circles. Each circles contain all the elements of a set. Where the circles overlap shows the element that the set have in common. Generally, there are two or three circles anymore and the exercise becomes very complicated.
For example, the birds and the bats. The difference between birds and bats. First, the birds. It lays eggs, it has feathers, and it has wings. And then the bats. It lives young, and it has fur, and it has teeth. So the similarities between the birds and the bats had two legs and they have warm blood. It vertebrate and the limbs modified as wings. So the next example we have multiplies of 3 and multiplies of 5. So when we multiply by 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 21, 24, 27. And then when we multiply of 5, we have 5, 10, 20, and 25. And the similarities between them was 15 and 30.
What to do when creating a Venn diagram? If the assessment focus is on organizing information, students view written text, pictures, diagrams, or video about two items that have some related characteristics. Identify what items they want to compare. Draw two overlapping circles. Label each circle. In each circle, fill in the characteristics of each item. Identify which characteristics appear in both circles. These characteristics go into the intersection. Sometimes, features that don't fit in either set are included. In the math example, if all numbers between 1 and 30 were included, some will not be a multiple of either 3 or 5. These are placed outside the circles. It is preferable that students then use their Venn diagram to compare the sets. Sometimes, the first step is to draw a rectangle and identify the universal set. For example, in the science example above, the universal set might be animals that fly. The circles for birds and bats are then drawn inside the rectangle. Reading a Venn diagram. If the assessment focus is to interpret a Venn diagram, ask questions about similarities and differences that the Venn diagram illustrates. Provide true or false statement, either 10 is a multiple of 3 and 1. Ask questions about or discuss the two sides. For example, students may be able to say that bats have some similarities to birds, but are not birds because they don't lay eggs or have feathers. If appropriate, ask questions that encourage students to make generalization. Can we classify a bat as a member of the bird family?
That's all, and thank you.